Name a bigger downgrade. I'll wait. I'm sure you all remember the new Pringles logo. One of you old? This was nearly 2 years ago. The Pringles redesign is atrocious. Prior to the change, the mascot had so much personality. Nowadays, it just looks miserable. They removed so many textures and facial features. Like, could this get any worse? No, seriously. Can this get any worse? So that's what I tried to do. I went out and designed a new version of the iconic mascot.
You what?
I decided to change up the iconic mustache and went with a classic neckbeard to better represent their main audience. But for the love of God, please don't go back to your first design. This face haunts my nightmares. I have a contender in mind for an even bigger downgrade, so stay tuned. Another company that lost all their personality with their new logo was Subway. I really like the old logo. The new one just is too bland in my opinion. It is unrecognizable, so I decided Subway needs a new logo. Something the youth will immediately recognize and sympathize with. So this is what I came up with. To keep the attention of the younger generations hooked while they make your order, there would be Subway service gameplay on the side. And afterwards they charge you $20 for a mid sandwich, like they always did. Mid. That's the best I could say for Microsoft's new logo. Microsoft Vista and 7 were the best logos in my opinion, but like everything in the late 2000s, they got more flat and less stylized. Just look at how the Windows 11 logo looks like. It's unrecognizable. Would you rather have your computer run on something that looks like this? Or this?
Personally, would go with the latter option, just because I think it looks cooler.
I have just seen that besides having the best Windows logo, Vista is ranked the third worst version of Windows. It's even ranked worse than Windows 1 and 2. The MasterCard logo was iconic. The two interlocking circles had such a strong recognizability. The new one just looks like one of those color mixing charts from primary school. Come on guys, I think you can do better than this. What can I say that hasn't already been said about the new Firefox logo? It played it super safe and adapted to the new flat art style that is currently the meta for corporate logos. I personally prefer the 2009 version, probably because of nostalgia, but in my opinion, the newest one looks too similar to Google Chrome. Speaking of Google Chrome, the first Chrome logo had this forced 3D perspective, because everything was a 3D logo in 2008, just as everything is nowadays just flat. I think the 2014 version is the best, but the most recent one ain't bad either. That is something that can't be said about Ubisoft. The old logo was a true classic and most of the time meant quality games. They tried to simplify it by using the outlines and keeping it monochromatic. But the new one just looks shit. No, seriously, once I saw this I couldn't unsee it anymore. Such a garbage design. So I gave it a shot and tried to further worsen the Ubisoft logo. And it's just a Sega Dreamcast. Speaking of Sega, their logo wasn't updated since 1976, which is crazy. But I think it's time for a redesign. I incorporated their most iconic IP into their logo. Since all Sega nowadays does is Sonic, why not go all out and include it into your logo? Because when their old logo was designed, Sega still made consoles and Sonic hasn't even seen the light of day yet. Speaking of video games, a company with an awful reputation but great logo is EA. Their iconic logo kinda slaps. This was some serious heat and still is in my opinion. I think the latest change to the logo made it kinda worse, because the logo itself looks like an afterthought next to the basic font. Another tech company that changed their logo is Intel. Their redesign is contender for the biggest downgrade, for sure. I'm pretty sure I can replicate their logo in Microsoft Word. Like, did they use the Arial font? Yikes. Tropicana Orange Juice. Some people call it the worst rebrand in history, and it's definitely up there. The old design was really recognizable and just made you thirsty. But when they changed their logo to this, the whole orange juice industry plummeted. No, seriously, it was so bad that Tropicana sold 20% less orange juice with the new packaging. What an immense fail. Pizza Hut. Did you know that Pizza Hut changed their logo? cause I haven't. This completely flew under my radar. But the new one doesn't look appetizing anymore. It has lost all of its flavor, which is the last thing you would want on your pizza.
Number 15. Burger King
went back to their roots with their new branding. I wouldn't say it's necessarily worse, but I just prefer the more colorful version, probably because that's the one I grew up with. But Burger King isn't the only company to change back to their old logo. Kraft changed their iconic logo with the red outline back in 2009. This change was obviously received poorly by all certified Kraft fans. In fact, it was received so poorly that the change was basically reversed. Their new logo is basically the old logo with some slight changes, but it still resembles the iconic version. But not all changes made to logos have to be for the worse. First thing that came to my mind was the eBay logo. The old one really didn't stand the test of time. It looked kinda sketchy and looks like something you wouldn't give your credit card details to. The newer one looks more professional and corporate, which in this case I prefer. The YouTube logo is more appealing now than before. Yes, I said it. I've gotten so used to it now that I prefer it over the old version. This change was made in 2017, so if you remember this logo, you're getting old.
Dude, what the f? Why are you f***ing here, man? You're so old. Where's your wife? Go home to your family, dude.
I had conflicted feelings about the new Instagram logo when it first changed. I thought it lost so much personality and charm, but nowadays I think, especially on modern phone screens, the more minimalistic approach was the better choice. Starbucks changed their logo, and at first people hated it. But as people got used to the new design, they realized that the new one just looks cleaner. In my opinion, the redesign works because of the recognizability of the mermaid herself. The text saying Starbucks wasn't needed anymore. Coca-Cola. To be honest, all of those logos slap. Everything with the iconic font just works for me. The last example I could think of was KFC. The newer KFC logo is just so much more friendly and welcoming. The old one looks like you left it out in the sun for years and it has lost all of its colors and details. This change was made while I was working on this video for the past few months, and what was Elon Musk thinking when changing the iconic blue bird to this fucking letter, bro? That looks like a porn site. That looks so generic, like a placeholder shitty ass app on a movie, like, you know what I mean? Like, this nearly made me uninstall Twitter, but no, that's not happening. I'm just not updating my app, and you shouldn't too. That's a good time to shout out my Twitter. So my Twitter is on screen right now. Make sure to give me a follow, like and subscribe to see more videos of me. Check out my other videos, and goodbye.